Welcome to the Let It Bleed podcast, a place where you can hear the liquor-fueled ramblings of two narcissistic wizards who conjure the essence of inspirational people every week and bring it straight to you.
Just how do you plan on doing that? Magic. Motherfucker.
And now for the wizards themselves, David Amaya and Phil Arroyo.
Nice.
What the fuck's up, man?
Oh, dude.
How were your holidays? How was your New Year, your Christmas, your Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you decided to choose to celebrate? I'm sure you and Bree both had a crazy made-up holiday that you and Frankie celebrated.
Well,
so how was it all?
Well, Hanukkah was great. Christmas was really good. Kwanzaa, horrifying. Our Rosh Hashanah, middling. Our New Year's, pretty sweet. And then finally our Easter, nightmarish. I do not want to talk about it. So, yeah, all in all, I think it averaged out to a pretty decent holiday, man. I'm over here just enjoying my sweet new air fryer. And by I mean Bree learned how to cook the shit out of stuff with it already, and so we're making bacon like every goddamn day. It's fantastic.
Dude, aren't those things fucking amazing? My mom got one a few months, like maybe about 6 months ago, and I just started using it like recently. It's got all, I don't know which one you have or how many different types there are, but this one is just like, it's like a microwave, except a lot better. Surely you have to wait a little bit longer for your food, but it's got all like the little symbols for different things, like, the pizza, the chicken,
everything
the
just turns out
salmon.
perfect.
Yeah, and it just like exactly like even if it's frozen, you just put it in there and it's just like boom, and you're like, what the hell is this nonsense?
I have no
idea. And the best part about it, it's not a microwave, so fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a great gift.
It's not jiggling my molecules and shit.
Yeah, I often wonder, but I'm too far gone with that. It's kind of like, people that just gotta have to accept, the outcome for later on. I've eaten way too much shit out of the fucking microwave. So
we probably got the cancers
beyond
like
repair.
10 years ago of decision making. You know what I mean? Like it's happening. Sure. I'm just kind of making peace with it.
Yeah, trying to figure out what I want to do beforehand. Anyways, before we take that morbid route, let's stay on the high route. This new year we're going.
How were your holidays, buddy?
They were interesting. It was. I think things have kind of just naturally for me all started to really, I've just been put into the place where I've needed to get. I'm not saying that I don't have a lot of work to do, but in terms of, the stress that I had been going through about what to get done and just having my plate full of things, all the events and stuff that I was working for, all of the different stuff that was going on regularly kind of took a halt in the last month. And then as we rounded out the holidays, we didn't even really do much with the family. We celebrated with my mom's side of the family a few days later than Christmas on the 28th. And so Christmas Eve and Christmas itself were just kind of, really oddly calm and mellow. There wasn't really anything going on. And same thing with New Year's, the New Year, I didn't do anything other than go to a small house party for a brief amount of time, with some friends that mostly I didn't even know, most of the people there. There was only a few people I knew, and it was local. It wasn't like I planned to go out and I didn't drink or anything because that was, I kind of decided that a few days before New Year's, fuck waiting for actual New Year's, fuck waking up hungover on New Year's Day. Why don't I just not drink?
Exactly.
I felt, I felt like it would just be way more fun to be sober. And so that's what I did. I did go to Joshua Tree the day before New Year's Eve, which was fucking rad. It was snowing, full of snow.
Oh,
and
that's
that was
cool.
such a, dude, it was fucking surreal as fuck because Joshua Tree is a place where you already get turned around pretty easily because all of the rocks look the same. Even for someone like myself who has hiked, a lot over the years and knows my way around. I pride myself on knowing my way around places pretty well. You have landmarks and stuff that you feel like you're going in the right direction, and then you can easily not be going in the
That
right
goes
direction at a certain point.
Out the fucking window though when everything's covered in snow, right?
Not only is it just the snow, but also the fucking, you know, the you can't see the sun because it was just gray. It really looked like we were in a different state, you know, not just like it looked more like we were in New Mexico or something when it was snowing, and that looked pretty fucking badass. And it wasn't super windy or chilly or like freezing cold. It was a nice temperature. It was actually colder over here when we got back because the winds were going like fucking berserk. I don't even know what the hell was going on, but yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and the funny thing was we did get turned around because we had gone a couple months back. I don't know, or about a month or so back, and I don't know if we talked about it on here, but I went with Eddie and a couple other people and went back with Eddie and someone else, and we were trying to get to this spot that, you know, should have been pretty easy to find. We both felt like we were on the right track. We both went, as far as we knew, down the same path that we had gone last time and, you know, past a lot of things that were familiar. And it was just hilarious because there was this one way off in this distance, this huge fucking snowman. He spotted it and I was like, what? And you just see it. And it was, you know, it was kind of not windy, but like it looked more treacherous far away because it just looked like the wind was blowing on it and the sky was super gray surrounding it. And it was just up there. And I don't know if it was what it felt like some sort of bad omen or like trickster omen, like it was fucking with us, that we were just joking around about it because we're like, oh, well, we're not going to go over there because it definitely can't be that far. We're going to stay this way. And, you know, we ended up getting lost. And then we wrapped around in a big ass loop and got back to we ended up back at the car and we're like, how the fuck did we get into this big ass turnaround?
The only thing that would have been so disappointing is that if you guys had died, nobody would have known. It would have been for such a stupid reason.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I could barely, whatever you just said was muffled as fuck.
Oh, I said the only terrible thing about if you guys had died from that was that nobody would ever really know how stupid of a reason you guys got lost for.
Right. No,
Damn.
so that was the funny thing is that, you know, afterward, Eddie, I could tell because he wanted to go back out there and he really wanted to get to the spot because at that particular spot, there's this really sick drop off. It looks like it's flat and then it just you look like you're like at a very flat part and then as soon as you walk over to one rock it's just this massive drop off. So he wanted to check it out in the snow, but by this point it had already taken us a few hours just to get to where we were, you know, and going on the rocks, up and over the rocks and having to do some like parkour fucking rock climbing shit when it's not snowing is one thing, but like when it's snowing or icy and wet, it becomes a lot more challenging. So it was already like 3:00 and the sun's been going down around 4 something over here. I was like, I mean, we can do it, but do we really want to like go through all of that? I knew I was fucking spent. And he was like, he's like, you're right, you know, because the time and whatever. But you could just sense that he was like really just, you know, it was like wanting to have gone there. And as we're going back on the drive home, it's all dark and he's playing this like, there's like this dark techno music like building up in the car. And I'm like, dude, this is like, I just picture the snowman out there right now, like fucking just like a storm, like a fucking, you know, cyclone of like snow, like building up around him with his evil eyes. And he's just like, ha 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 ha, Eddie, I fucking threw you off, Eddie. Ha ha ha. Like it's going to haunt his fucking dreams. I was just like, dude, I don't know. I love that I could create, if anything, this really fucking, you know, sinister, evil snowman character out there. But that thing was like fucking massive, man, because of how far we were and how big it was from how far we were, like how he spotted it. It was, I don't know, it definitely was something.
Give me some footage. What are you talking? What are you talking? How big is this fucking mystery snowman? 10 feet tall?
So
20 feet tall?
It's not 20 feet tall. Not 20 feet tall. It's hard to say. It might have been anywhere between 6 to I don't want to say 10. I don't know. It's hard to say, but we did fucking spot it. It was definitely at least like a 6 foot to 7 foot snowman, which is pretty fucking big. You know, and it might have even been bigger, but we did spot it from pretty far away. I want to say at least like 200 yards away.
You know what else is that big? Goddamn Squatch.
Squatch?
Think you might have seen Squatch. One of the rare albino Squatches out there.
He was pretty still, though. He was just chilling there.
That's how they get you.
Right.
Yeah, they blend into
But
their
yeah,
surroundings.
I wish we would have seen a Squatch there. It would have been pretty fucking epic.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Joshua Tree with the snow. My sister went out a couple days. Oh, speaking of air fryers, right over here on the screensaver on my television, an air fryer ad just popped up. That's funny. But yeah, no, my sister went to Joshua Tree like 4 days later to go catch the snow, and there was absolutely nothing there. It was so bizarre. So bizarre.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at your sister like that, but that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it totally was. Don't worry, I laughed at her too. I was like, ah, especially because I was getting up for work.
Did she not look it up first?
Like, I don't know. You know what? To be fair, like, it was probably still filled with snow maybe a day or two before that. And she probably was looking at people's Instagrams and saw that. But you're right. Like, on top of that,
so
she had already
pissed.
Well, she was sleeping
all the way down there. Oh man.
Yeah. I was leaving for work at 10:30 that morning, and she was still like sleeping in bed. And I was like, "Wait, aren't you guys supposed to go to fucking Joshua Tree?" And she was just like, "Yeah, we are gonna go." I'm like, "Wow, like you're waiting, like by the time you guys get out there, it's because when we left here around 6 a.m. So, because it takes a while to get out there, and to go do anything. Like she basically went out there to see like the sunset and no snow." And then come back, which I guess, it's cool. It's better
That's
than
how
nothing.
you want to spend your Saturday. I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, it was a weekday. But
okay.
Yeah, it was a weekday. But anyway, that was crazy. The snow, Joshua Tree, that was pretty much the highlight of my my break. So
oh man,
that sums that up. Yeah.
Right on, man. Yeah, we actually went to New Year's Eve at the Long Beach Aquarium, and that was
What was going on there?
Oh, they had I guess they have a big party over there every year. So they had DJs and bands and like all the exhibits are open and stuff like that. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So like what kind of, anybody big, anybody like noteworthy?
No, the music was fucking garbage.
Let's go fucking
the bands were
at the
okay and the
bro.
DJs were dog shit. All just playing like the top 40th of the top 40 and fucking one of them was just yelling over it the whole time. I don't know why. Like, you don't need to play Get
the
Low
best DJ
and then
in the house.
Just keep yelling balls whenever they say sweat drip down my balls. Like, come on. How much did they fucking pay for this guy? Probably nothing.
So the track had sweat drop down and the DJ would simultaneously say
he would go balls, 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 balls. Like, what?
Wow,
Why?
I love this DJ already.
Why?
I fucking want to meet this person because that takes some balls. Let me tell you to do that.
I think at one point he yelled, "Who wants to fuck a otter tonight?" And I'm like, "What?"
That is hilarious because that reminds me. Yeah, go ahead.
It was right. It was next to the otters, man. And I feel like the otters looked over. They're like, "Motherfucker, what are you talking about?" Yeah,
dude, because they have a reputation for raping
shit too.
No, dude, they don't care. They have a reputation for raping.
Oh, that was
seals.
like an awareness program.
Yeah, bro. Did you not
shit.
see? There was that. I forget her name. Is it Melissa Wilt or Virginia Wilt? That girl. That she's fucking hilarious. I saw her.
Harvey
special.
Weinstein sounds like a adorable otter. If you don't have any context for that.
No, fuck that. He is not adorable in any way.
No. The name sounds like an otter's name. I could see a cartoon otter being named Harvey Weinstein, right?
Oh man,
like it sucks that it's attached to like that guy in real life. It's fucking terrible. But like if you just separate that aside entirely, yeah, I could see that
have
cartoon.
You seen
like a Pepe Le
the
Pew
garden
style?
wall?
No,
they have names like that. Like it's a cartoon similar to like Adventure Time and Gravity Falls and kind of like in a fantasy like setting, but they have like animals and they have like human names like that, like first and last names. So that would definitely that feels like it would fit into that style, like
right. That's what I'm
saying. Did you talk to Harvey Weinstein today? Like and he just pops up out of the fucking water. It's like hey Harvey Weinstein,
top hat.
Yeah. Just got done raping some baby seals. No, it reminded me of that comedy special I was telling you about.
Yes.
Where she was like, people just chiming in on Facebook, and she's like,
that was a
you don't
strong
know me.
Opener.
How do you know that's not the reason why I like otters?
Yeah.
So funny. Oh man. That was gold. But yeah, otters.
So I didn't see
DJs,
any
balls.
Yeah, no
DJs, balls,
no
all of that
otter
stuff.
sexual assault. As far as I could tell.
Okay.
We were late, so it might have happened earlier in the evening. Who knows?
They might have had the otter raping ceremony or the seal raping ceremony already before
it's
then.
It's a ceremony
So,
now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Me Too
so,
comes
like,
to
you guys,
SeaWorld. This is fucked up, man.
It was just you two, and you went and...
Wait. Hashtag C2. There we go.
Oh, man.
Okay, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was fun. Yeah, we
But it was
went
just you
out there and
two?
did that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good
That's
times.
right. Have you, lived up to any, or started your resolutions, if any?
I have,
off
yeah.
to a good start?
Yeah, no, I want to put more effort into the things that I am, like, refocus some energy down into just doing stuff. I mean, I have a similar resolution every year, and towards the end of last year, I definitely was like not keeping it. But the way that I kind of more succinctly put it on Facebook was I wanted to write more dumb shit on the internet, which is kind of one way of articulating the idea.
What do you mean by dumb shit?
Just to write more, to produce more, to do more things for fun, and try to spend the creative time that I've got more wisely.
Right.
The excess. Now that I have more of a direction, more of a focus, more of an ability to separate this is the productive, this is the work time, this is these things, and then I can say this over here is my miscellaneous time for anything else. I don't have to have that constant anxiety that I don't know how many hours I should be allocating towards the productive work stuff and the creative fun stuff, or the anything that I can spend however I want, the elective stuff. And I don't have to worry, am I doing too much of this? Am I doing too much of that? Because I'm working on my own. I'm saying, okay, how many hours do I have to put in to get this next client, get this next project done, that kind of thing, out constantly fishing for new business and stuff like that. And now that I've got kind of more of a, more of a steady job, that I can kind of bank on that, and then I can go to work and come home and be like, okay, now I know I can spend this many hours doing whatever I feel like doing. Whether that be another creative project, whether that be just blowing off steam, having fun, something like this, that I think allows me to produce more. And so I'm giving myself that not just the okay, but the determination to actually create more, to do more this year. And so far,
that's great.
Yeah, taking it little steps at a time. But so far so good. How about you, man?
Right on, dude. No, that's great. Time management is certainly of my permanent resolution that I go up and down on all the time. But I guess more or less, I decided that and I didn't really even want to make like so much of an announcement about it, because I guess I didn't really put so much of a thought into my resolutions, but and it's something that I've said all the time, and I just want to do it. I just as far as drinking goes, like, I'm not setting any particular date that I'm not drinking toward. I'm just not drinking right now. I'm just trying to go for as long as I can.
That's great.
With saying that I'm not going to do that, and I'm trying to revert my habits as far as like eating and stuff that was probably a result, or something that had stuff to do. It had it was definitely in correlation with my drinking and partying and whatnot, but the eating, and then trying to just really treat my body well, like trying to get my proper sleep and stretch, and I went and bought a bunch of vitamins and probiotics and stuff that I was neglecting, and just I already could tell within a few days a slight difference, and perhaps it is more of like a placebo, just a mental thing so far, because
you would definitely be feeling that already.
Yeah, the determination, that went into it. But I'm excited for that. And same thing. Like I think that as I've had this time to kind of slow down and allow myself to kind of almost, because there were certain days where I was just like so lazy, and or at least that's how I thought about it. And I've gotten okay with being kind to myself and telling me that that's not necessarily lazy. It's just me giving my body a rest, the proper rest that it needs. Not only my body, my mind, because I'm just all over the place with things that I'm doing, with projects that I've started. And, like you were saying, the anxiety that comes from what should I work on? You spend more time wondering what you should be putting your time into at each moment. And, things come up and throw you for like they throw a wrench in the wheel and you're just like, oh man, and so I'm trying to really just take things slower and not worry so much that I don't have something done, because I come to think about it, it's I'm going to be getting the same results that I was getting. I have so many unfinished projects, and the thing I had to tell myself was that not all of them were meant to be finished. Not all of them were meant to be done. That's just the way it was. For whatever reason, I didn't complete them because they weren't meant to be finished. I might have thought that they were a great idea that needed to be done. I think that was coming from a separate place rather than just the will to create was more, I just gotta, it comes from that stress of needing to have a strong output. You're just like, I gotta get this out. I have got to have content. I've got to be, relevant. I got to be actively posting and sharing. And that was one of the things that I forget who I had the conversation with, but that is, as much as it's the social media and the sharing tools that we have to get our art out there, and the way that the business is kind of shifting, the art world and how things are shifting and how we use those things so often, the pressure that comes from that, we have to really check ourselves every now and then and say it's a fucking okay to not like have something for an extended amount of time. You lose followers, or if you lose whatever, who gives a fuck? And I mean, let's be real. It's not like I have like 1 million followers in the first place. That's not even what it's about. You gotta, if you want to see, I want to tap into my fullest potential creatively, like not just trying to figure out how to do something, but really tap into like, the truest sense of me and my expression again. Like I want to do all of the things that I wanted to do, like writing these songs, finally getting them out there, and but I want it to be me. I want it to be real. I want to have that feeling like from when I put out the Little Black Bear and Coyote first album, stuff like that. Something that I could really just be stoked on, and regardless of whether it does anything or goes anywhere, it's just something for me. And so that's one. And
yeah, that's dope, man. Like you want to build something that's more evergreen, like right. Rather than doing a lot of stuff and constantly putting out stuff that you're just thinking, not that you're just saying it's okay, but just putting out stuff just to put it out, versus like working, just really putting the time in to work on like that masterpiece,
right?
Something that you're gonna be looking back on still in 2 years, and not like the kind of throwaway stuff that might come out and the week to week challenging yourself to keep up with that schedule. Yeah, I totally get that.
And so there's that, and then one of the other things, and this is going to be probably the most challenging thing, because it's not only a huge like point for the show and what we like to talk about so often, but and something that we're passionate about, both of us. But like I just fucking was watching so much television, or not television, but like shows. I was going through so many series and spending so much time being absorbed into these shows. And as much as I love the art, I love stories, and I love that, I think I need to spend less time consumed by that and dedicate more time to reading. And I started reading a book that I just ordered that I heard about a few weeks ago, or maybe about a month or so ago, the autobiography or the memoirs of Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's called Acid for the Children. And I couldn't have picked a better book to start reading as like the first book of the year, because it's so heartfelt, sincere, compelling, and relatable to me. A lot of what this guy was saying and the stories and the things that he shares, like they really like fucking hit me. You know, I read Anthony Kiedis' autobiography, Scar Tissue, which was great and amazing and epic, you know, and it had the whole sex, drugs, rock and roll saga, you know, the ups and downs and all that crazy behind the music stuff. But something about Fleas, where, you know, what he decides to share, the stories and the anecdotes that he has, that, you know, like, there's just something about them because they really don't have anything to do with him being in the band. It's not like him telling the story of like him in the band. It's like
it's not like those two are leading to like a Red Hot Chili Peppers Avengers novel or something like that, where they cross over, the stories cross over, meet up. Nothing like that.
I haven't even. Okay. I literally read 150 pages in a day and a half on Flea's book, and it still hasn't even gotten to the Red Hot Chili Peppers days yet. So it's been all of, you know, all kinds of other little things, and it's great because it's very poetic, you know, the way he writes these little, it'll be a brief, you know, look into a certain moment or a certain day, a memory that he has, and it's not like drawn out, so you don't get you don't get bored. You know, there's just lots of it. You just keep going once you get to the end of one little chapter, and then you're like, okay, I want to keep going. So anyway, yeah, it's fantastic. I recommend it so far. I haven't finished it yet, but I can already tell that I'm going to like it. I can't see how it could go wrong. You know, but yeah, anyway, I want to read more and, like you were saying, write more.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's a good like kind of goal to kind of go towards, because nobody, I think, is really making a conscious effort to do that. And there's probably so much, I gotta imagine, so much creative potential to like potential for inspiration, for things to be tapped by there, you know, especially by virtue of the fact that, hey, not a lot of people are doing that, you know. Like, how many people like stop anybody in the street, I'll bet you one out of every 30, and it's probably being generous, you know what I mean?
Right.
Break that down by who's all making creative stuff, and it's like, oh, you know what, that gives you more of a unique perspective. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, man.
All goes towards the main thing, all funnels in like that. Well, that's fucking dope.
Absolutely. Yep. So, I mean, amidst all this positivity, there's all kinds of other crazy shit that's happened in the past few days already into 2020. 2020 has started off with the boom.
January 2nd. January 2nd, before we went off and starting fucking wars, man. Oh.
So what? Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and just share? You know.
Oh, I mean,
where you're.
Yeah. I mean, fucking okay. I was pretty pissed off about this because, one, everybody knows that this is not a thing that we need right now. This was not an imminent threat. Everybody has been worried that this motherfucker was going to drag us into another decades-long quagmire that was going to cost us $1 trillion, and any ability to, reinvest funds or any future for public programs and stuff like that in this country. And it's a nightmare, man, because people have been making the mistake of thinking that Iran is, another Afghanistan and Iraq, and nobody, I think, realizes that Iran is like 3 times the size and is pretty they are very, very formidable. They're not the same. They're not a bunch of, it's not a guerrilla group in caves.
Right, they're an actual nation that's developed more so than those.
Yeah, with a strong air force and navy and good strategic positions and stuff like that. Like, it would be a hell of a time.
Right.
Not to mention the fact that they also have very advanced cyber warfare capabilities that we just don't seem to talk about or think about. Like, Iran also, like, there was like a ransomware that shut down like a lot of the hospitals like all throughout Atlanta that we know was traced back to Iran. Like, they're very capable. Like a retaliation for what the president did, which is insane. He basically assassinated the Mike Pence of Iran. To make that comparison. Like,
okay.
Okay, wait, here, hold on. I had something pulled up real quick for that. Somebody I thought put a great analogy together. They said, imagine if Iran started a war in Mexico, left a power vacuum so big it was filled by a literal terror state, engulfed the region in perpetual conflict, and then we graffitied the Iranian embassy in Mexico City, and they drone striked Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. That's kind of what happened. It was a retaliation for a protest mob in Iraq that had mobbed the embassy, took it over, thrashed the place, and left. Nobody's harmed or killed in this thing. And so their response to that was to assassinate this guy, who is like their beloved leader. I mean, arguably like the leader of the country in a lot of ways, because he was so well respected and kind of loved over there. And it was just
I've heard some different things, though. I've heard from at least, I don't know, when listening to NPR or even people posting stuff, that there are mixed feelings from Iranians about this, that they didn't like this man and that this was a good thing. I'm not arguing or making a point that it was a strategic good move at all.
Think about it. And this is not the perfect direct comparison, but think about how we would feel if somebody drone striked, let's say, Mike Pence.
Right.
We're like, half of us would be or a little bit mixed. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, fuck that. Somebody came in and killed us. Like, that's not okay. But also, okay, wait. Here's the greatest thing. I heard something online. I'm not sure if this was true or not. These are like rumors that have been floated, but somebody was passing something around. I saw them say that the Iranians had had floated the idea of targeting just Trump hotel properties specifically for retaliation. And my immediate thought was like, okay, it's not immediately there, so feelings are
let's just evacuate everybody.
But that's not, the point is that we cannot set a precedent where we just go around assassinating heads of state.
But he was definitely, just to make the point for anybody who's listening, though, if there's anything, that might have, they might
I
not
posted
like
this on Facebook and it was controversial. Yeah. So.
Right. Because he actually is, at least by action, a lot worse than Mike Pence has been, in terms of what he's done. Right.
I mean, it's the same reason why I say, hey, let's not assassinate Kim Jong-un, let's not make it a habit of assassinating foreign leaders. It doesn't matter who they are. Sure.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. That's not what I mean at all. But I'm saying, like, by comparison, though, that just to make it clear to people, like, we're not saying that he's equal in action to Mike Pence.
That's just a comparison to his rank. He's like the vice president over there. Yeah. Not that their actions are in any way comparable. He was a bad guy. When this has been covered in great detail, so I don't need to kind of go over all that again. He was a bad guy. It's just that, is he deadlier alive or as a martyr? And I would guess it's probably the second one.
Yeah.
That it's the money. It's sending all the troops. Like, we're sending over 4,000 more troops over there right now. Like, those guys are going over there, and there was, as far as I can see, no reason for this to happen right now.
Right.
There's no reason. Like it was not imminent. I don't believe them when they say that, and they have done nothing to earn the benefit of the doubt.
Right. There's not enough evidence to actually prove that, and
I doubt there's any evidence of that. That's what they claimed, but why would we believe them? Why would we believe them on this when they've literally never told the truth on anything else? So, yeah. Right. What this does do is distract from impeachment, and historically, like, that plays better among his base and stuff like that. Yeah. There's a reason.
And my question to you also was, how much do you think of it? His decision to do that was not only just that, re-election. The strategic move for re-election, what presidents tend to do, but also because of the fact that he got impeached, him being like, well, fuck you guys, I'm going to go start a fucking war, or I'm going to go just create this shit, and if you guys really want me out of here, then you guys are going to be fucked.
I mean, yeah, that's everybody's, that is kind of the simplest and most obvious answer to all of this. Obviously, we can't know that. But,
right.
It's frustrating that it's almost like he's kicking, screaming, and knocking shit over on his way out the door. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
wow.
Yeah, so it's, and everything that has been, that I've seen really seems to suggest that nobody had any idea this was going to happen. There was no control over this. Like, people at Mar-a-Lago knew before Congress that Iran was, that they were about to launch this strike. Like, I mean, the Pentagon fucked up massively by even presenting this as an option for them. And, I mean, it's just a clusterfuck, man. And it's going to lead us right into a war. And, fuck, I think right now Iran has actually come off like a pretty sane actor. I mean, just tonight, just a couple hours before we're recording this, it looks like they launched a bunch of rockets at some U.S. bases in Iraq.
At a U.S. base, but no U.S. bodies have been found yet.
Yeah.
Because if that were the case, if there were U.S. casualties, we would most certainly be going to fucking war.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I don't know. I don't quite believe like this was it. Like this was the retaliation.
That's it.
Oh, but they've already said that they're completely restarting their nuclear program, and there's no reason why any of this should be happening. Was because Trump made that first provocative move by tearing up the Iran deal last year or in 2018. There was no reason to do it other than to shit on the legacy of Obama, and it was just such a fucking petty move. And now here we are. Iran's restarting its nuclear program. They're, North Korea has been shit. Like it's, oh man, it's bad. It's stomach churning bad. Like we are just so much from a foreign policy perspective. We don't talk about this enough, but the situation is deteriorating so quickly, and I don't know, man. It seems like anything that I mean, short of fucking tying him up and handing him over, I don't know how we stop this thing now. Luckily, it seems like they were also just as reluctant to get into the war, even after this. But we will not know probably for a couple months. I'm sure this is probably just the beginning, like an appetizer, a little thing of what they're planning on doing. And, at this point, it doesn't matter. Like, every American that dies from this retaliation is one that didn't have to die, necessarily. So one that wasn't going to, had we not killed this guy. Plus, all of our troops just got kicked out of Iraq. Like, they just voted unanimously to eject us from the country, so we have no foothold in that country anymore. Like, we have no allies because we betrayed the Kurds a couple months back. We have Europe is saying like, okay, this is your guys' beef. They're kind of staying out of it. Nobody's backing us on this, and it's like fucking cool. So it's still super early. It's hard to know, but it's not good. A thing to do, I think, would be to try to, I mean, the only thing that I think to me gives me a little bit of hope that there might be some leverage to turn the ship around is that there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle who really do not want this. I don't know if this has made its way around, but even Tucker Carlson has been going out on his show every night and giving a very good argument for why war with Iran is a bad idea. Like, straight, I would say the same exact thing. He's been out there on the show every night just fucking dropping some truth about why it's such a bad idea. And I'm like, okay, so if that wing of the propaganda arm knows, hey, this isn't helping anybody, and they're really wanting to stop it. To me, that says maybe there's a chance to get the fucking launch codes away from this moron, and hopefully before there's too much blood on our side or any side, man. But still, it's it's a rough time to be enlisted right now for sure. So my heart goes out to them.
It's also a rough time to be a Hollywood celebrity, it seems.
Oh yeah.
Did you see all that stuff that happened?
You're talking about the Golden Globes?
Or not all that stuff, that one thing that happened, yeah. That one remarkable monologue.
Oh, you know what? I didn't actually see it because to me Ricky Gervais is pretty insufferable a lot of the times. So I wasn't, I'm like, okay. Okay, guy who did a photo shoot of himself as Jesus because he's an atheist. Like, it was so just, like, eye-rolling, like, just jerk-off motion every time he fucking talks. I do like the guy, some of his things, but, like, I'm like, okay, right. His self-righteous, like, monologues get to be a little bit much. So I haven't watched it yet. Yeah. I don't know if it's bad or not. I'm just saying that's why I just kind of rolled my eyes and kept on scrolling,
I do kind of lump him into the same category, or he's kind of, I view him in the same vein as like a Bill Maher, like where there's just kind of a little bit too arrogant for my taste,
Totally.
The way that they're very self-righteous. But what he did say, despite it, obviously knowing that it was going to benefit him in some way, like whether his motives were really like he just doesn't care and he actually cares about the truth or the goodness or whatever, it still was like, kind of like, damn, he's up there doing that, and everything he's saying is just kind of like a big fuck you to Hollywood and their self-importance. That was something that I thought was, hey, like, yikes. It really does kind of seem like the stabbing, the last knife into the back of something that's dying already. Something that's been dying, because he makes the point about like nobody cares about fucking cinema anymore. Nobody cares about these films and regular television. Everybody's on Netflix. I might as well just come out and say that Netflix wins it all, like, and all these other networks and stuff that are like HBO and Netflix and all the other streaming sites that are where people go to watch these films anyways. He made the one joke that like Netflix has one show called what was it, after death or some basically about, he said that it's a show about a guy who wants to kill himself because his wife has cancer, and he's like, it's still more entertaining than this shit that we're about to start off with for 3 hours right now. Like, I mean, as far as like
so he's talking shit like the award show nature of it, just the fact that they would all sit around and give each other prizes and put it on TV like it's worth something.
That and among everything in about just their ethics and everything too, like he about he was saying like something about he said, but guess what, spoiler alert, season 2's coming out, so he obviously doesn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. And he goes, shut up, I know he's your friend, I don't care.
right. I did hear that one. And that's kind of funny.
And he like that kind of stuff, really calling out, pointing attention to the pedophile thing too. And I was like, damn, it was interesting.
Okay, I'll have to give that a watch.
But I do agree. I share the same sentiment as on
like
Gervais
that was
well.
the one like line I heard from it. I'm like, okay, that just sounds like a regular monologue. Like, that didn't sound that like, oh snap, like, I'm like, yeah, ain't nobody could admit that. Who's gonna take that personal? But I'm sure there's a lot more to it than just that. But that's what made me go like, okay, if that's a sample, then like, I feel like I heard that before.
Right. Yeah, it's something that's worth checking out. If you haven't yet already. So
yeah, but did you see that fucker Harvey Weinstein? Was it today or yesterday? Where he went to court, and I think it was yesterday. He went to his first day in court.
With the fake-ass walker?
With the fake walker.
Like a Walmart walker?
And they have him on camera. They have somebody pick up the walker, and then he just walks up the stairs, and then he grabs it again, and then keeps on going. It's like, fuck, they all do this. It's to the point where it's like, oh, yeah, we know this now. Any old fucking Cosby, Paul Manafort, and him. Those are the three that come to mind just in the last like 6 months, where they all suddenly need a Walker or Kane or some shit like that. And it bugs the hell out of me that the shit works sometimes, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, hopefully this one, everybody's like, okay. Even the jury's like, I think I've seen this before. I think they're knowing they're doing a thing. It's going to count as a point against them. Because fuck them. As many points against them as you can get. They're monsters. Anyways, I'm looking forward to that. Seeing him fucking rots. Oh, man.
Yeah. I saw a funny meme where it had him wearing a fucking a dog a dog cone, so that
yes, I did see that.
A dog cone, so that they whatever they call those things that dogs wear, that so they can't fucking lick themselves. I think it's just called a cone.
Dog
right?
cone, yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing one of those. Oh god, that was hilarious.
Oh man. So did you catch did we talk about Star Wars yet?
I have not seen it. I was supposed to go.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
The day I was supposed to go the day before Christmas Eve with somebody, and got so fucking busy at work. Like, that was something that happened over the break. Being understaffed at the restaurant and it being extremely busy and just getting murdered to the point where like I wanted to cry and walk out of the restaurant.
Yikes.
So that was something new for me. But no, that's the reason why I didn't end up going. And I've heard mixed reviews, and it might be the first Star Wars since all of the newer Star Wars came out, because I didn't watch. I watched Phantom Menace in the movies when I was a lot younger, and I didn't watch the other two in theaters. So this might be the first of all the newer Star Wars films that have come out recently that I've not seen and might not see in theaters. I don't know.
Oh, one of the newest ones that you might not see in theaters. Look, I thought it was good. I think everybody that bitches about the movies are, I mean, there's these purists and things like that. Like, everybody said that the last one was like the worst one ever made. And I think like that was the only one that had some fucking balls to try something different, and I respect a lot of what it was doing. So, yeah, again, I've basically been of the opposite opinion of most people when these movies have come out. Like, I think
really I think it's split down the middle.
Yeah, I think like what I would say is that the movie, it was fine. It was fine. It was good. It was enjoyable. I had a good time. Is it kind of predictable? Yeah. Is it, sure. It didn't take a lot of like big risks, but that's kind of J.J. Abrams. I enjoyed it about as much as I did the first of the new ones. You know what I mean?
Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I have a free movie pass, so if I do find the time with, before, while it's still in there, I might check it out. But I feel like there's got to be other movies too that I want to. I haven't been to the theater in a while, and yeah, I don't know what else is out there. Like, what's going on? What's out there right now playing?
I don't know, man. This is what
so
Ricky
wrapped
Gervais
up.
was warning us about. The kind of the depth of creativity. I don't know what the fuck is out right now.
Well,
Little Women.
It's the passing of the torch, though, in creativity, because now we're having it in the Netflix and HBO and all that stuff. I think it's more like the death to Hollywood, big Hollywood movies, because he brings up the point again, and I know you might not be in the same camp of this as like Scorsese or even myself to some degree, about the superhero movies and stuff. I know that you're really into all of those, and it's just, even though they're movies that are entertaining, it's like the films, they're not really films anymore. They're just he made a joke in there about like superhero movies aren't really about actors. They're just people that go to the gym twice a day and pump up steroids and go on screen, and Scorsese was in there, and he's like, I agree with Scorsese about his remarks about, these action hero movies not really being films. They're like amusement parks for us to go to. But I'm not sure how he would know, because he's not tall enough to go into any of the amusement. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I do think that they've gotten a lot better in the last few years, at least for my taste. I like the comedy aspect to a lot of the superhero films, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, in large
just,
part they're right, and there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. It's a mixed bag like anything else. But yeah, no, fuck, I
Right.
was listening to this thing the other day that was talking about how, like, there's a certain like monopoly-esque, a property that's kind of happening with Netflix and some of these bigger ones like Amazon, companies that are already massive that can come up with these studio budgets that are starting to eat up a lot of projects and things like that. And they're starting to, kind of like YouTube is kind of just becoming another studio, and there's like no real, like the indie part of the industry is kind of really dying out even harder. Like there was a resurgence where people were saying like independent filmmaking, things like that, were gonna make a comeback because of the internet, and now because of like the Facebook Googleification of so many tech companies and how there are fewer and fewer startups, and everybody's main point now when they get going is just to get acquired by one of the giant companies, is kind of causing another like resurgence of the death of kind of creativity in a lot of these things. Like people are starting to take less chances and stuff like that again. And fuck,
Right.
I wish I could remember the argument a little bit better, but that was the heart of it, and it kind of made a lot of sense that it was going this way. And we've talked about this before, but monopolies in any industry is fucking no good. And they're saying like, look out for starting to see less and less diversity of ideas and less risks being taken from places like HBO or Netflix and stuff like that.
That is very true. I mean, I do stand by my love for HBO and my appreciation for Netflix, in being that they have really created the main source of entertainment, at least like the higher points of entertainment for me in the last few years. Like all the shows that I do like watching and everything come out on there. But it's only a matter of time while there is nothing, literally, like once nothing else is out there, that they will start to become just like any other formulated garbage that you can't get away from because they're the only ones. And I definitely think that it is important, and that's something to consider. Just not to let it go away, and not to just forget about the fact that, or I guess, what am I trying to say? Not to just overlook the fact that it's decreasing in size. All the competition and all the different forms. All the companies and stuff that are bringing us entertainment, like it shouldn't really just be boiled down to these guys, because then that can become really fucking dangerous, as you were saying.
Well, here's hoping
really...
that like as technology and things like that, things become more accessible and cheaper to make these things, that we start getting people who are just making independent stuff and putting it out there, because you can do things for a way cheaper budget than you used to be able to.
Well, that's what I was thinking was happening. That's what I kind of figured was happening. I thought it was a lot. I thought that there was
I think there's a bridge there between like straight amateur filmmaking and like big box office shit. There's like that middle ground's getting hollowed out. But hopefully, like that,
okay.
I'm also thinking maybe there's a world in which like the cheaper, amateur filmmaking, that we could progress to a point where that becomes accessible on like these absurdly small budgets, like laptops and phones and other things like that. For $30,000 you can get a pretty incredible film made or something like that. I don't know, who knows?
Yeah,
I'm just spitballing. This is not my area here, but
sure,
shit, man.
That's what I was thinking though. What
have you seen? Wait, are you still not caught up on Mr. Robot?
I know, because Amazon Prime will not let me see season 3 yet. Maybe now that the series finale is over, they will allow me to. But I've only seen past season 2, so I need to. Or is it 2 or 3? I've seen up until the point. Spoiler alert! Where the whatever season ended with them at that barn, and
okay. That's season
2,
3,
right? Oh, that is 3. Okay, so
yeah,
no, I think that's season 2, because they wouldn't let me see season 3.
Or,
or maybe I don't know. The one where so the one with the guy that's
Bobby Cannavale, right?
Yes, yeah, and he like pieces out and he's like, "I was you back then." Like, you know, he told the other dude that before he shot himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and
sure that was season
3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, so yeah, I just have to see season 4 then, which it wouldn't allow me to on that yet. But that is the one thing I'm looking to finish. I've been watching Deadwood because Dave's been really just putting it. You got to watch Deadwood. You got to watch Deadwood. And man, I don't know why in the hell that show is named Deadwood. That show needs to be just changed to Cocksucker. Because that is that is the name of the fucking show. Like every other word. They say cocksucker more than anybody in Tarantino's films say the word fuck. Like, it's crazy. It's
they
crazy
really
how much they
sucked
say.
The life out of that wood, didn't they? Almost like it's...
I guess.
Whoa.
Yeah. Deadwood has a whole new meaning for that fucking thing. What?
Oh, man. No. I wanted to say that.
Oh, yeah. But... Anyway,
yeah, no, Mr. Robot, I think for me, late entry, late entry to best show of the decade, not counting Breaking Bad since that spanned over the last 2 decades.
I've heard somebody else say that too, and I would say that
like by the time it got to the end, it wrapped everything up nicely, and I was really satisfied with it.
I cannot speak into that yet.
Yeah,
I cannot speak into it yet. I will say though that we have not talked about the finale of Watchmen. And
yeah, we have.
Fuck. No, we didn't. Not the finale, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought there was still one episode left before when we last talked.
No,
anyway,
I had that in my notes that we the finale we did last time.
Okay. So for me, there was that whole thing about like, are they going to go with another season? You know, it was obviously said to be by Damon Lindelof that he was not going to do any other further seasons because he was just trying to continue on past the movie or past the original story, and kind of trying to just take it, like basically create one next big chapter for that and leave it at that. And I think just for the standalone season, like the short series, that one it's got to be up there. You know, it's definitely
absolutely
up there and one of the greatest of all time. Cinematic masterpiece. You know, it's just the music, the score, everything about it was just fucking fantastic. And it made me go back and watch The Leftovers. You're right, because we did talk about this. I did bring up the fact that I went back and watched The Leftovers. Yeah, it's been happening. I went and watched The Leftovers, and that one too, for the mind fuck, as well as just the music, the score, everything that went into the production and just the way it was shot. I loved that style so much, and I think that Watchmen was just kind of like he got it right, because he did Lost, he did that, and then he just fucking absolutely nailed it with Watchmen, and so. I don't know if you can really say, I guess that would be put into a category all on itself, because there's that one, there's Maniac, which was a single season series, Chernobyl, which is also a really good one.
Yeah.
So I guess I would have to rate those separate from the other ones, which for me so far still it is.
I think to be fair, that's probably best. But fuck, I like that. I want people to keep doing that. Even like Fleabag. That was intentionally, I think just 2 seasons, right?
I haven't finished the second season. I watched the first season. I really enjoyed it so far, and I don't know why I didn't get back to it. For some reason, I don't really just gravitate naturally towards Amazon as much as I do Netflix, Hulu, or HBO. But yeah, I got to get back to that one. Yeah, so definitely, I got to finish Mr. Robot and see what you're talking about, because it definitely had me go in the first
pirate that
couple
shit,
seasons.
Dude, it's fucking good, man. Then we'll talk about it
right
another
on.
time. But as we're wrapping up here, did you have anything you wanted to push coming up? First projects of the year?
Well, they did just Fuzzy Puddles did just announce they dropped the lineup yesterday. Lost in the Sauce coming up. It's gonna be fucking epic. Instead
that
of
lineup look good.
the lineups, that's just the phase one of the lineup. And we're gonna be definitely getting more and more heads rolling through as we start to get even like bigger names up in there. But it's still worth it alone just to come and see all of the homies that are there. So many people that have been here are with us on the podcast before, including Blair, Zimbu, who wants to come back on again. I think he's going to be our next guest to come onto the show and kind of just catch up and share a bunch of stuff that's happened to him recently and all these opportunities that have come his way. But yeah, so that is definitely something to look forward to. As we've learned from our last stab at it, Riley is actually going to be running now the side stage that I was overwhelmed with the task of running a completely side stage last year and putting that together. And I really had no business doing so because I'm not a sound guy. I am more focused on the art and creating like that side of things. And so he's doing the whole sound stage with his Bass Boss rig. Kevin started working with him at this company. They both started working for this one sound company. So big things are happening for them. I'd love to get them back on in here too to talk about it. But I'm going to be basically just doing a side, kind of like a mixture of, it's like an art area where you can come view art, but there's going to be installations surrounding the place that we're going to be coordinating, as well as like a mini stage, kind of like a mixture between the Grand Artique and the Jive Joint, where there will be, comedy, puppet shows, open mic sort of performances. We haven't really come up with an exact itinerary yet, but we've got a much more massive group. It's not just the Lions Den. We're collaborating with a lot of the homies there, and it's great to see so many more people that are just kind of stepping up and really coming together to create this. We're creating a festival. It's been a camp out. That's what we've called it. But it's growing and growing each year, and it's got all of the makings of what Lightning in a Bottle had when it was starting out, and all of these other things. And so it's really exciting to see that all of the things we said, oh, wouldn't that be cool if we did this and that years ago, are starting to actually just kind of unfold. Fuck yeah. And yeah, man, that's what this is all about. That's what Let It Bleed's all about. That's what this whole thing is. We just got to fucking keep going, setting those intentions, and trusting where we end up, as long as we try to have some diligence and kind of trying to keep our wits about us and our passions high. Things will come out of it. Don't be discouraged. Be happy despite what's going on in the world, despite this World War III stuff. Be concerned, be aware, be alert, but don't fear, don't be afraid, because life is life, and we're going to keep going on with or without this catastrophe, despite however devastating it may be. It's better to just remain positive and try to find positive solutions and ways to do things, and no better way to take your mind off of the really bad shit and redirect your energy into something positive than by creating, by creating something, by using your energy constructively. So that could be all I'm going to encourage for right now, so.
I think I'll give you the last word on that one. I think that was well said, man. It just goes to show, dude. You keep making your noise in that noisy room, and eventually somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, the fuck is that noise?" You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it. But, everybody should go and follow us and share with us, with everybody. We've got a few more episodes left before the 100th episode of Let It Bleed.
Woo!
And that's going to be a very big one. So get all your friends ready to go before we have that.
All right. Little mini stroke. We got excited. Moment of silence for the end of episode 97.
What? What?
So we just had a little moment of silence for the end of this episode. Okay, cool. Ready? Continue.
Oh, did it block me out?
Yeah, I didn't hear a fucking word you said just now. Oh, this is
oh shit!
Just real smooth dismount we got on this one. Anyways, guys, make sure you follow us on social media. That is at Let It Bleedcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. For myself, you can find me on Twitter at Phil Nobody Cares and on Instagram at Nobody Cares Phil. And how about you, my friend?
I guess they don't like us fucking announcing. They're like, fuck you guys. We don't care about your 100th episode. But no, that's what, follow me, Hood Rat Stuff with 3 Fs, Psychedelic Lions Den, follow Let It Bleed, follow yourself, share yourself, give yourself away to everybody out there. Just let it bleed.
Read between the lines, send them dick pics.